Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
The upcoming science fiction thriller Disclosure Day, 2026, is quickly becoming one of the most talked about concept films among movie fans who enjoy mysterious global events, secret government operations, and the possibility that humanity is not alone in the universe. The story is built around a chilling question that has fascinated people for decades. What would happen if the world suddenly learned the truth about extraterrestrial contact? The film imagines a near-future moment when hidden information that governments have protected for generations is finally revealed to the public. Instead of presenting aliens as a simple invasion story, the movie focuses on the emotional, political, and psychological shock that spreads across the world when humanity discovers that contact has already happened. From the very beginning, the atmosphere of the film feels tense and mysterious, slowly building a sense that something enormous is about to be revealed. The movie is set in the year 2026 during a time when global tensions, technological breakthroughs, and scientific discoveries are happening faster than ever before. Governments are investing heavily in space programs. Private companies are launching satellites and deep space missions, and advanced artificial intelligence is helping scientists decode strange signals coming from deep space. At the center of the story is a secret international task force made up of scientists, intelligence officers, and military analysts who have spent years investigating unexplained aerial phenomena. These mysterious sightings, strange radar signals, and classified encounters have been quietly documented for decades. But the truth has always been hidden from the public. As the film begins, the world is unaware that a historic announcement known as Disclosure Day is secretly being prepared behind closed doors. The cast of the film brings together a strong group of actors who portray experts from different backgrounds, each representing a different perspective on the truth that is about to emerge. The central character is a brilliant astrophysicist who has spent most of her career studying unusual radio signals coming from deep space. She is intelligent, curious, and deeply committed to science, but she also begins to realize that the evidence she is studying may point towards something far more shocking than anyone expected. Alongside her is a former military intelligence officer who has seen classified footage and documents that the public has never been allowed to see. He carries the heavy burden of secrets that could change human history, and throughout the film he struggles with the moral question of whether the truth should finally be revealed. Another key character is a technology journalist who begins investigating strange government leaks and uncovers hints that the world's leaders may be hiding something extraordinary. As the story unfolds, the audience slowly learns that the phenomenon being investigated is far more complex than simple sightings of unidentified flying objects. Scientists within the secret task force have discovered patterns in the data that suggest these mysterious crafts may have been observing Earth for decades, possibly even centuries. Satellite recordings, deep ocean sensors, and declassified Cold War archives reveal strange encounters that were quickly hidden from the public eye. Military pilots have reported seeing objects moving in ways that defy known physics, accelerating instantly and disappearing from radar within seconds. While many officials initially dismissed these reports as equipment errors or misidentified aircraft, the accumulated evidence eventually became impossible to ignore. At the same time, governments around the world began noticing something unusual happening in space. Several powerful observatories detect a repeating signal coming from a distant region beyond the outer planets of the solar system. The signal does not behave like a natural cosmic phenomenon. Instead, it appears structured, almost like a coded message. Scientists attempt to decode the pattern and discover that it contains mathematical sequences that could indicate intelligent origin. This discovery forces global leaders to confront a terrifying possibility. Humanity may not only be observed, but it may also be receiving a direct communication. The political tension within the film grows as world leaders debate whether the public should be told the truth. Some governments argue that revealing the existence of extraterrestrial intelligence could cause worldwide panic, economic collapse, or religious conflict. Others believe that humanity deserves to know the truth and that hiding such information would be unethical. Secret meetings are held between powerful nations as intelligence agencies race to verify the evidence. Meanwhile, leaks begin appearing online, spreading rumors that something historic is about to happen. Social media erupts with speculation about aliens, secret spacecraft, and hidden technologies. The journalist character becomes increasingly important as she follows a trail of classified documents and whistleblower testimonies. Through her investigation, viewers learn about several shocking incidents that were quietly buried by authorities over the years. These incidents include unexplained craft disabling nuclear weapons systems, mysterious lights appearing above military bases, and strange objects detected entering Earth's atmosphere before disappearing into the ocean. Each revelation builds toward the growing realization that the world has been living with unanswered questions for far longer than anyone realized. Meanwhile, the astrophysicist character works tirelessly to analyze the mysterious deep space signal. With the help of advanced computing systems, she begins decoding fragments of the transmission and discovers that the signal may contain coordinates and symbolic information rather than language. The implication is unsettling. The message may not be meant for communication in the traditional sense, but could instead be guiding humanity toward a location or event. As scientists debate what the message means, tension grows within the secret task force, because any decision about how to respond could alter the future of the planet. The former intelligence officer struggles with his conscience as he realizes that the truth has been hidden for far too long. Over the years, he has seen evidence that powerful governments have recovered unknown materials from crash sites and studied them in highly classified laboratories. Some researchers believe these materials may represent technology far beyond current human engineering. If such discoveries were shared with the world, they could revolutionize energy production, transportation, and space exploration. However, revealing them could also expose decades of secrecy and raise difficult questions about why the truth was hidden. As rumors spread across the internet and pressure from journalists grows stronger, global leaders finally reach a historic decision. A coordinated announcement will be made simultaneously across every major news network on Earth. This announcement will confirm that humanity has detected evidence suggesting the presence of extraterrestrial intelligence and that further investigation is underway. The moment will be known as Disclosure Day. Behind the scenes, scientists and military officials prepare the information that will be shared with the public, carefully deciding how much detail can be revealed without causing chaos. The build-up to this announcement creates intense suspense within the story. Ordinary people begin noticing unusual activity around observatories, military bases, and government facilities. Large groups of satellites are repositioned in orbit, and classified research centers suddenly increase their security levels. Some people believe the rumors are exaggerated conspiracy theories, while others become convinced that the truth is about to change everything humanity believes about the universe. The film captures this global atmosphere of anticipation, fear, curiosity, and excitement. The trailer for Disclosure Day, 2026, gives audiences a glimpse of this tension through dramatic visuals and powerful dialogue. Scenes show scientists analyzing strange signals, fighter pilots chasing unidentified objects through storm clouds, and world leaders watching classified footage in dark briefing rooms. One of the most striking moments in the trailer features the astrophysicist staring at a massive digital display showing the repeating deep space signal while whispering that the pattern cannot be random. Another intense scene shows crowds gathering outside government buildings demanding answers as news channels report mysterious leaks. The trailer ends with a chilling moment when the journalist character finally sees a classified document confirming that contact with unknown intelligence may have already occurred. As she looks up in shock, the screen cuts to black and the words "Disclosure Day is coming" appear. This moment perfectly captures the central theme of the film, the idea that humanity is standing on the edge of the greatest revelation in history. The anticipation surrounding this moment drives the entire narrative forward as the world prepares for an announcement that could redefine humanity's place in the universe. The official release date for the film is planned for 2026, positioning it as a major cinematic event that combines elements of science fiction, political drama, and global suspense. The filmmakers aim to create a realistic and thought-provoking story rather than a typical alien invasion spectacle. By focusing on human reactions, moral dilemmas, and scientific curiosity, the movie attempts to explore what the discovery of extraterrestrial intelligence would truly mean for civilization. As the story builds toward Disclosure Day, viewers are left wondering whether the truth will unite humanity in curiosity and exploration or divide the world with fear and uncertainty. By the time the first half of the story concludes, the stage is fully set for the historic announcement. Governments are preparing their statements, scientists are finalizing their research, and the public is beginning to sense that something extraordinary is about to happen. The world stands on the brink of a revelation that could change every belief humanity holds about its place in the cosmos. As the world moves closer to the moment known as Disclosure Day, tension spreads across every corner of the planet. Governments that once denied the existence of unexplained aerial phenomena are now quietly preparing official statements, while scientists scramble to finalize decades of research that has been hidden from public knowledge. Inside secure research facilities, teams of analysts review classified footage, radar recordings, and recovered materials that may prove humanity has not been alone in the universe. The atmosphere within these secret laboratories is filled with urgency because the truth that will soon be revealed could redefine human history. The astrophysicist who plays a central role in the story finds herself under enormous pressure as the global announcement approaches. Her work decoding the mysterious deep space signal has progressed further than anyone expected, and the patterns she has discovered suggest that the signal may be responding to human activity. Every time Earth sends powerful transmissions into space, whether through satellite communications, radar systems, or deep space probes, the signal appears to change slightly. This discovery raises a disturbing possibility that whatever intelligence created the signal might already be aware of humanity's technological presence. For the scientist, the realization is both thrilling and terrifying because it suggests that the universe may be far more interconnected than humanity ever imagined. Meanwhile, the journalist continues investigating secret government programs that have operated in the shadows for decades. Through interviews with former engineers and retired military personnel, she learns that several crash retrieval missions may have occurred long before the modern era of satellite technology. Some witnesses claim that strange metallic objects were recovered from remote desert locations and transported to heavily guarded research facilities. These stories were often dismissed as conspiracy theories, but as the journalist gathers more evidence, she begins to see a consistent pattern emerging. Multiple governments appear to have studied the same phenomenon while carefully avoiding public disclosure. The former intelligence officer becomes increasingly conflicted as the date of the global announcement draws closer. For years, he followed orders and helped maintain the secrecy surrounding these discoveries, believing that protecting the information was necessary for national security. However, after seeing the growing evidence that extraterrestrial intelligence may exist, he begins questioning whether humanity can truly move forward while hiding such knowledge. His internal struggle represents one of the film's most powerful themes, the conflict between secrecy and truth. As he prepares documents that will be presented during the Disclosure Day broadcast, he realizes that this moment may be the most important decision of his entire life. Around the world, ordinary people begin noticing unusual signs that something historic is approaching. News networks report sudden increases in satellite launches, international scientific conferences being held behind closed doors, and military aircraft conducting unexplained surveillance flights. Online forums fill with speculation as leaked photographs and blurry videos appear across social media platforms. Some people believe the world is about to learn about alien contact, while others dismiss the rumors as elaborate misinformation campaigns. The uncertainty creates a strange mixture of excitement and fear that spreads through global society. As the story progresses, scientists within the secret task force achieve a breakthrough while analyzing the mysterious signal from deep space. By using advanced pattern recognition systems, they discover that the signal contains repeating mathematical structures based on universal constants. These constants include ratios and numerical patterns that would likely be understood by any technologically advanced civilization. The implication is astonishing. The signal appears intentionally designed to be recognized by intelligent observers. The discovery strongly suggests that the message was created by an advanced intelligence attempting to establish a form of communication that transcends language. The team debates how humanity should respond. Some researchers believe Earth should transmit a reply, sending a mathematical signal back into space as a demonstration of intelligence. Others warn that revealing humanity's exact location could be dangerous if the unknown civilization has hostile intentions. This debate mirrors real scientific discussions about the risks of actively messaging extraterrestrial intelligence. Within the film, the decision becomes even more urgent because the signal appears to be gradually changing, almost as if waiting for a response. At the same time, the journalist uncovers a shocking piece of evidence that dramatically raises the stakes of the story. Hidden within a classified archive, she finds a decades-old report describing a close encounter between military aircraft and an unidentified craft that displayed extraordinary capabilities. According to the report, the object was able to disable advanced weapons systems without causing damage, demonstrating technology far beyond human engineering. The report concludes with a chilling statement suggesting that the object may have been intentionally observing human military capabilities. This revelation raises the disturbing question of whether humanity has already been studied by an unknown intelligence. As Disclosure Day finally arrives, the world's attention turns toward a coordinated global broadcast prepared by international leaders. Television networks interrupt their regular programming, and billions of people gather around screens to watch the historic announcement. In the film, the moment is portrayed with dramatic intensity as world leaders appear together to deliver a carefully prepared message. They confirm that scientists have detected evidence strongly suggesting the presence of extraterrestrial intelligence and that unexplained aerial phenomena recorded over decades remain under investigation. While the announcement avoids revealing every classified detail, it acknowledges that humanity may not be alone in the universe. The global reaction to this announcement becomes one of the most fascinating elements of the story. Some people celebrate the news as the beginning of a new era of discovery, believing that contact with another civilization could lead to incredible technological progress. Others react with fear, worrying that humanity may be vulnerable to forces it does not understand. Religious leaders, scientists, and political figures all attempt to interpret the meaning of the announcement, leading to intense debates across every nation. For the characters at the center of the story, Disclosure Day represents both a victory and a new beginning. The astrophysicist continues working to decode the mysterious signal, convinced that humanity has only begun to understand the message hidden within it. The journalist publishes her investigation, revealing how decades of secrecy prevented the public from learning the truth earlier. The former intelligence officer finally feels a sense of relief after years of guarding secrets, believing that humanity deserves the opportunity to face the unknown together. The trailer for the film hints that the story may not end with the announcement itself. Several scenes suggest that the mysterious signal from deep space becomes stronger after Disclosure Day, as if the unknown intelligence has noticed humanity's acknowledgement. One dramatic moment shows the astrophysicist staring at a new signal pattern appearing on the observatory screens while alarms begin sounding in the control room. Another scene briefly reveals a distant object moving through space toward the inner solar system, leaving audiences wondering whether humanity's response has triggered a new phase of contact. The visual style shown in the trailer emphasizes realism and suspense rather than flashy science fiction action. Dark control rooms filled with glowing monitors, massive radio telescopes scanning the night sky, and tense political meetings create an atmosphere that feels grounded in reality. The filmmakers appear to focus heavily on emotional reactions and philosophical questions about humanity's place in the universe. Instead of simply portraying aliens as enemies or invaders, the story invites viewers to imagine how civilization would truly respond to the confirmation of another intelligent species. The release of Disclosure Day, 2026, is expected to generate significant interest among audiences who enjoy thought-provoking science fiction. The concept of a global announcement revealing extraterrestrial intelligence taps into a fascination that has existed for generations. By combining elements of scientific investigation, political intrigue, and personal drama, The film aims to explore how humanity might react to the most profound discovery in history. As the story approaches its final moments, viewers are left with a powerful sense that the true consequences of Disclosure Day have only just begun. Humanity has taken the first step toward acknowledging the possibility of life beyond Earth, but countless questions remain unanswered. Who created the mysterious signal? How long have they been observing humanity? And what will happen if direct contact finally occurs? The film concludes on a mysterious note as scientists continue studying the evolving signal while telescopes around the world scan the depths of space. Humanity now understands that it may not be alone, but the future remains uncertain. The universe suddenly feels larger, more mysterious, and full of possibilities that could reshape the destiny of civilization. In the days following Disclosure Day, the world enters a period unlike anything in human history. What was once dismissed as speculation or conspiracy suddenly becomes a subject of serious global discussion. News channels broadcast nonstop debates, universities organize emergency conferences, and scientists across the world begin collaborating in ways never seen before. Governments that previously operated in secrecy are now under intense pressure to release more information about what they know. The announcement confirming the possibility of extraterrestrial intelligence has opened a door that can no longer be closed. For the astrophysicist at the center of the story, the days after Disclosure Day are filled with overwhelming responsibility. Her research team becomes the focal point of the international scientific community because they are the ones closest to understanding the mysterious signal coming from deep space. Observatories across multiple continents redirect their powerful telescopes toward the same distant region of space where the transmission originates. The signal, which once appeared as a repeating mathematical pattern, begins to evolve. Instead of simply repeating the same structure, it starts to display variations that seem deliberate, almost as if it is reacting to something. Scientists studying the data begin to realize that the signal changed shortly after the global announcement confirming the existence of extraterrestrial intelligence. This raises a chilling possibility. The unknown intelligence may have been monitoring Earth's communications and recognized that humanity has finally acknowledged its presence. For the astrophysicist, this realization sparks both excitement and fear. If the signal truly represents a response, it would mean that humanity is no longer simply observing a mysterious phenomenon. Instead, humanity may now be participating in the earliest stage of interstellar communication. Meanwhile, the journalist who helped uncover hidden government records finds herself suddenly at the center of global attention. Her investigations into secret programs and unexplained encounters have turned her into one of the most recognizable voices in the media. Major news networks invite her to discuss the evidence she uncovered, and millions of viewers watch as she describes how decades of secrecy prevented the public from understanding what was really happening. Although she believes the truth needed to be revealed, she also begins to feel the weight of the consequences. Every word she says has the potential to influence how people around the world react to the new reality. Public reactions vary dramatically across different regions of the world. In some countries, people celebrate Disclosure Day as the beginning of a new scientific era. Universities announce new research programs dedicated to studying extraterrestrial communication, and space agencies accelerate plans for deeper exploration of the solar system. In other places, the announcement creates widespread anxiety. Some groups worry that revealing humanity's presence to unknown civilizations could attract unwanted attention. Religious leaders attempt to interpret the discovery within the context of ancient beliefs, leading to passionate discussions about how the existence of other intelligent beings might fit into humanity's understanding of the universe. The former intelligence officer, who spent much of his career protecting classified information, now watches these global reactions with a mixture of relief and uncertainty. For the first time in decades, he no longer has to pretend that the evidence does not exist. However, he also realizes that the world has only seen a fraction of the information that governments have collected over the years. In secret archives, there are still recordings of encounters, fragments of unusual materials recovered from crash sites, and scientific reports analyzing technologies that seem to defy current understanding of physics. The question now facing world leaders is whether more of these secrets should be revealed or whether some information remains too sensitive for public release. While political debates continue, the scientific community becomes increasingly focused on the evolving deep space signal. Researchers discover that the changes in the signal follow a predictable structure that resembles a complex sequence of mathematical relationships. It is as if the transmission is gradually increasing in complexity, testing whether the receiver, humanity, is capable of recognizing and interpreting more advanced patterns. This idea leads to a remarkable conclusion among the scientists. The signal may be functioning like a cosmic introduction, slowly guiding humanity toward a deeper level of communication. The astrophysicist and her team begin developing a plan to respond. Instead of sending random messages into space, they propose transmitting a carefully constructed mathematical signal designed to demonstrate intelligence and curiosity. The message would contain universal concepts such as prime numbers, geometric relationships, and representations of fundamental physical constants. These elements are chosen because they would likely be understandable to any advanced civilization with knowledge of mathematics and physics. However, the proposal immediately sparks intense controversy among world leaders. Some governments support the idea, believing that initiating communication could lead to one of the greatest discoveries in human history. Others strongly oppose the plan, arguing that broadcasting humanity's presence could expose the planet to unknown dangers. The debate becomes one of the most important decisions humanity has ever faced. Should Earth remain silent or attempt to speak? During this time, observatories detect something that sends shockwaves through the scientific community. In the same region of space where the signal originates, astronomers observe a faint but unusual object moving slowly toward the inner solar system. The object does not behave like a typical asteroid or comet. Its trajectory appears controlled, and its movement suggests some form of propulsion rather than natural gravitational drift. Although the object is still extremely distant, its existence raises a profound and unsettling possibility. The signal may not simply be a message but a prelude to an arrival. As rumors of the discovery spread through scientific circles, governments attempt to keep the information confidential until more data can be gathered. However, leaks once again find their way to journalists and online communities. The public begins speculating that something may be traveling toward Earth. Some people believe it could be a spacecraft, while others argue that it may simply be an unusual natural object. The uncertainty fuels an atmosphere of suspense that spreads across the planet. The trailer for the film hints at these developments through a series of dramatic scenes. One sequence shows scientists gathered around a massive digital projection of the solar system while tracking the mysterious object's path. Another scene captures world leaders arguing inside a secure conference room as they debate whether humanity should attempt communication. A powerful moment shows the astrophysicist watching the signal patterns grow increasingly complex while whispering that the message is evolving faster than anyone predicted. Another intense scene in the trailer focuses on the journalist as she uncovers evidence that governments may have previously encountered similar objects long before modern technology existed. Ancient records and unexplained historical sightings hint that mysterious visitors may have approached Earth in the distant past. If these records are accurate, it would mean that humanity's encounter with extraterrestrial intelligence may not be happening for the first time. As the story moves closer to its climax, the international scientific coalition finally makes a historic decision. Humanity will send a response to the signal. The message will be transmitted using some of the most powerful radio telescopes ever constructed, directing the signal toward the same region of space where the mysterious transmission originated. The broadcast will represent humanity's first intentional attempt to communicate with another intelligent civilization. The moment of transmission becomes one of the most emotional scenes in the film. Scientists, engineers, and world leaders gather inside a massive observatory facility as the countdown begins. The astrophysicist who helped decode the signal stands beside the control panel, knowing that this moment could mark the beginning of a new chapter in human history. When the signal is finally transmitted, the observatory's massive antenna sends humanity's message into the vast darkness of space. After the transmission, the world waits. Days pass with no immediate response. Some people begin questioning whether the signal was ever meant to communicate with humanity at all. Others remain hopeful that the message will eventually be answered. Meanwhile, astronomers continue tracking the mysterious object moving slowly through the outer regions of the solar system. Although it remains far away, its presence serves as a constant reminder that humanity may not be alone. The final scenes of this part of the story focus on the emotional transformation experienced by the main characters. The astrophysicist realizes that her life's work has become part of a moment that future generations will remember forever. The journalist understands that revealing the truth has forced humanity to confront its place in the universe. And the former intelligence officer finally accepts that the era of secrecy has ended, replaced by a future filled with questions that only openness and cooperation can answer. As telescopes continue scanning the heavens and scientists monitor the silent depths of space, humanity stands at the threshold of a new era. The signal has been answered, the mysterious object continues its distant journey, and the universe feels more alive than it ever has before. Whether the future holds friendship, discovery, or danger remains unknown, but one thing is certain. The moment of disclosure has forever changed the destiny of Earth. As weeks pass after humanity sends its first intentional message into deep space, the entire planet remains locked in anticipation. Scientists continuously monitor the same region of space where the mysterious transmission originated, hoping for any sign that their response has been noticed. Observatories around the world operate around the clock, their enormous radio telescopes scanning the darkness of space for changes in the signal pattern. Every slight fluctuation is carefully analyzed by international research teams, but for a long time, nothing appears different. The silence of space begins to feel heavier with each passing day. For the astrophysicist who helped decode the original signal, the waiting becomes one of the most difficult experiences of her career. She spends countless hours reviewing the recorded data from the transmission humanity sent, making sure that every detail of the message was precise. Her team carefully designed the response to demonstrate intelligence without revealing unnecessary information about Earth's exact location or technological capabilities. Even so, she cannot ignore the lingering uncertainty about whether the decision to respond was the right one. Humanity has taken its first step into a conversation that could reshape the future of civilization, but the outcome remains completely unknown. Meanwhile, the mysterious object detected in the outer solar system continues moving along its unusual trajectory. At first, its motion was slow and distant enough that scientists believed it might take many years to approach the inner planets. However, new calculations reveal that the object has gradually increased its speed. Although the acceleration is subtle, it is enough to convince astronomers that the object is not behaving like a natural asteroid or comet. Its movement appears deliberate, as if it is following a controlled path through space. The discovery spreads quickly through the scientific community, and governments once again face a difficult decision about how much information should be shared with the public. After the events of Disclosure Day, many leaders understand that attempting to hide new discoveries could destroy public trust. As a result, a carefully worded announcement is released confirming that astronomers have identified an unusual object traveling toward the inner solar system. Officials avoid suggesting that the object is artificial, but the scientific data leaves little doubt that its behavior cannot be explained by natural forces alone. Across the world, reactions range from curiosity to anxiety. Some people believe humanity is about to witness the arrival of an extraterrestrial probe sent to observe Earth. Others fear that the object could represent something far more dangerous. Social media platforms fill with endless discussions, theories, and predictions about what might happen next. For the first time in history, humanity shares a collective awareness that something unknown may be approaching from the depths of space. The journalist who exposed many of the hidden government programs continues following every development closely. She travels between research facilities and observatories, documenting how scientists are racing to gather as much information as possible about the approaching object. Through her reporting, the public gains a clearer picture of the incredible technology being used to study it. Space telescopes analyze its reflective properties, radar systems attempt to measure its structure, and advanced simulations calculate its possible destination within the solar system. One of the most surprising discoveries occurs when astronomers manage to capture a clearer image of the object using a powerful deep space telescope. The image is still distant and somewhat unclear, but it reveals a shape that appears symmetrical rather than irregular. Natural asteroids are typically uneven and rough, formed through chaotic collisions over billions of years. This object, however, shows hints of smooth surfaces and geometric alignment. Although scientists remain cautious about drawing conclusions, many privately acknowledge that the object may indeed be artificial. Inside secure research facilities, scientists begin debating what the arrival of such an object might mean. Some believe it could be an automated probe sent by another civilization to observe developing planets. Others suggest that it might contain information or technology designed to be discovered by intelligent species. A smaller but more concerned group wonders whether the object could represent a form of surveillance device monitoring humanity's progress. For the astrophysicist, the new images of the object create a powerful sense of realization. The signal that first captured her attention may have been only the beginning of something much larger. If the object truly originated from the same region of space as the mysterious transmission, it could mean that the signal was a form of introduction, preparing humanity for the possibility of contact. At the same time, observatories begin detecting subtle changes in the deep space signal itself. The mathematical pattern that scientists had previously decoded begins to transform again. Instead of simply increasing in complexity, the signal now appears to mirror elements of the message humanity transmitted weeks earlier. It is as though the unknown intelligence has received the response and is now acknowledging it by reflecting parts of the signal back. This discovery electrifies the global scientific community. The implications are enormous. If the signal is responding to humanity's transmission, it would represent the first confirmed instance of interstellar communication between two intelligent civilizations. Researchers immediately begin analyzing the new signal pattern in hopes of identifying additional information hidden within the transmission. As the news spreads, world leaders gather once again for urgent discussions. The possibility that humanity has successfully initiated contact raises countless questions about how to proceed. Should another message be sent immediately? Should humanity wait and observe further changes in the signal? Could the approaching object be connected to the communication in some way? The debate becomes intense, reflecting both excitement and caution. Some scientists believe humanity should respond again quickly, building on the initial success of the communication attempt. Others argue that rushing into further contact could be risky without fully understanding the intentions of the unknown civilization. While these discussions continue, the approaching object enters a region of space where it becomes visible to more advanced telescopes. New observations confirm that the object possesses a faint energy signature that cannot be explained by natural radiation or sunlight reflection. The data suggests the presence of an internal power source, reinforcing the idea that the object may indeed be a form of spacecraft or probe. The trailer for the film teases these developments through a series of dramatic scenes showing scientists staring at newly captured images of the object while alarms and data streams fill the control rooms. In one powerful moment, the astrophysicist watches as the signal pattern on her screen reorganizes into a structure resembling the mathematical sequence humanity originally transmitted. Her expression shifts from disbelief to awe as she realizes that the message has been answered. Another intense moment in the trailer shows the journalist broadcasting live from outside a massive observatory as she explains that humanity may be witnessing the first direct response from an extraterrestrial intelligence. Behind her, crowds gather to watch the night sky, hoping to catch a glimpse of the mysterious object that has captured the world's imagination. As the story moves toward its final phase, the characters begin to understand that Disclosure Day was not the end of the mystery. It was only the beginning. Humanity's decision to reveal the truth and send a message into space has triggered a chain of events that may lead to the first encounter between civilizations separated by unimaginable distances. The astrophysicist and her team continue decoding the evolving signal, convinced that it now contains new information. The journalist prepares to document what could become the greatest discovery in human history. The former intelligence officer works with global leaders to ensure that whatever happens next will be faced by humanity together rather than hidden behind secrecy. In the final moments of this part of the story, telescopes track the mysterious object as it crosses the outer boundary of the solar system and begins moving closer to the region of the giant planets. Although it remains incredibly far from Earth, its path confirms that it is heading deeper into the solar system. Humanity watches the sky with a mixture of wonder and uncertainty. The signal has responded, the object is approaching, and the universe suddenly feels far less empty than it once seemed. The next chapter of this story will determine whether the approaching presence represents a peaceful exploration, a cautious observation, or the beginning of an encounter that could transform the destiny of life on Earth forever. As the mysterious object continues its silent journey deeper into the solar system, the atmosphere on Earth shifts from curiosity to intense global focus. What once seemed like a distant scientific mystery has now become the most important subject on the planet. Every major observatory, space agency, and research institution begins directing its resources towards studying the approaching object and the evolving signal connected to it. The idea that humanity may soon witness the arrival of a non-human creation transforms the priorities of governments, scientists, and ordinary people alike. For the astrophysicist who first helped decode the signal, the moment feels surreal. For years, she studied patterns hidden in distant cosmic noise, never imagining that those signals would lead to the possibility of direct contact with another intelligence. Now her research team has expanded into a massive international collaboration involving experts from multiple scientific fields including astrophysics, mathematics, linguistics, and artificial intelligence. Their goal is no longer simply to study the signal, but to understand the intentions behind it. The signal itself continues to evolve in fascinating ways. After mirroring the mathematical sequence humanity originally transmitted, the pattern begins displaying increasingly complex structures that resemble layers of information. Each section appears to build upon the previous one, as if guiding researchers through a gradual process of interpretation. Some scientists compare the structure to a universal tutorial, a step-by-step introduction designed to ensure that the receiving civilization can follow along without misunderstanding. Meanwhile, the approaching object provides new surprises with each week of observation. High-resolution telescopes begin revealing clearer details about its shape and movement. The object appears elongated, with a central structure surrounded by smaller symmetrical components that could be antennas, sensors, or propulsion units. Although the exact design remains uncertain due to the immense distance, one thing becomes increasingly clear. The object does not resemble any natural formation known to science. As these observations accumulate, space agencies around the world begin developing plans to study the object more closely. Several unmanned spacecraft missions are proposed, each designed to intercept or observe the object as it travels through the outer solar system. Engineers work at extraordinary speed to design probes capable of reaching the object before it moves too far beyond the reach of human technology. At the same time, the political landscape on Earth begins to change dramatically. Disclosure Day has already forced governments to reveal information that had been hidden for decades, but the arrival of the mysterious object pushes transparency even further. International organizations create a cooperative council made up of scientists, diplomats, and security experts whose purpose is to coordinate humanity's response to the potential contact event. The Council's main priority is ensuring that decisions about communication or exploration are made collectively rather than by any single nation. The journalist who exposed the early secrets surrounding the phenomenon now finds herself documenting the unfolding story of humanity's greatest discovery. Her reports capture the emotions felt across the world as people watch history unfold in real time. She interviews scientists working inside massive observatories, engineers designing spacecraft missions, and ordinary citizens who gather each night to watch the sky. Through her storytelling, viewers see how the approaching object has transformed the way humanity thinks about its place in the universe. For the former intelligence officer, the situation brings both closure and responsibility. Having spent decades protecting classified information about unexplained aerial encounters, he now works closely with the International Council to ensure that humanity approaches the unknown with caution and unity. He understands better than most people how easily fear and secrecy can create conflict, and he believes the world must avoid repeating the mistakes of the past. As the object approaches the region of the giant planets, scientists notice something extraordinary happening within the deep space signal. The complex mathematical structures that had gradually evolved now begin forming patterns that resemble visual data. When researchers convert these patterns into graphical representations, they discover that the signal may contain images encoded within the mathematics. Although the images are incomplete, some appear to represent geometric shapes or diagrams. This discovery sends excitement through the scientific community. If the signal truly contains images, it may be an attempt by the unknown intelligence to share visual information that transcends language. Researchers begin using powerful computers to reconstruct the fragmented patterns into clearer images, hoping to reveal what message might be hidden within the transmission. At the same time, new observations of the approaching object reveal a faint burst of energy coming from its surface. The burst lasts only a few seconds, but its pattern matches the same frequency used by the deep space signal. The connection is unmistakable. The object and the signal are part of the same system. This moment becomes one of the most dramatic revelations in the story. For the first time, humanity has clear evidence that the signal is not simply a distant transmission, but is directly connected to the physical object traveling toward the solar system. The signal may be functioning as both a communication method and a navigational system guiding the object through space. The trailer hints at this turning point through intense scenes showing scientists analyzing the sudden energy burst while data streams flash across massive screens. In one scene, the astrophysicist stands inside the observatory control room, watching the signal pattern align perfectly with the object's position in space. Her voice trembles slightly as she explains that the object is not just approaching, it is communicating. Another moment in the trailer shows the journalist reporting live as crowds gather outside major research centers, waiting for updates about what scientists have discovered. People from different cultures and backgrounds stand together watching giant displays showing the object's trajectory, united by curiosity about what might happen next. Inside the International Council, leaders begin preparing for the possibility that the object may eventually send more direct forms of communication. Linguists and mathematicians collaborate to create translation frameworks capable of interpreting unknown symbolic systems. Artificial intelligence programs analyze the evolving signal patterns to detect hidden meanings or instructions. Meanwhile, the proposed spacecraft missions continue advancing rapidly. Engineers design high-speed probes equipped with advanced cameras, sensors, and communication systems capable of studying the object up close. If launched successfully, these missions could provide humanity's first direct view of an extraterrestrial artifact. As the weeks turn into months, humanity becomes accustomed to living with the knowledge that something unknown is approaching from deep space. Children study the object's trajectory in classrooms. Artists create paintings imagining what it might look like, and scientists dedicate their careers to understanding the signal's message. The universe suddenly feels more alive and mysterious than it ever did before. For the characters at the center of the story, the journey has transformed their lives completely. The astrophysicist realizes that the signal she once studied in isolation has become the key to humanity's first interstellar conversation. The journalist understands that her determination to reveal the truth helped prepare the world for this moment. And the former intelligence officer finally sees the possibility that humanity can face the unknown together rather than hiding from it. As the object continues its slow approach toward the inner solar system, the signal begins forming even more intricate patterns that scientists believe may represent instructions or coordinates. Some researchers suggest that the message could be guiding humanity toward a future meeting point somewhere within the solar system. The possibility that the unknown intelligence may be inviting humanity to participate in a controlled encounter becomes one of the most exciting ideas explored in the film. If true, it would mean that the approaching object is not simply observing Earth, but may actually be preparing for a form of contact. In the closing moments of this part of the story, telescopes capture another brief energy burst from the object, stronger than the first. Immediately afterward, the deep space signal reorganizes once again, revealing a completely new sequence that scientists have never seen before. The astrophysicist watches the data appear on her screen, realizing that the message has entered a new phase. As the mysterious object continues its steady approach through the outer regions of the solar system, the world enters a new phase of anticipation. Months have passed since humanity transmitted its first message into deep space, and what once felt like a distant possibility now feels closer to reality than ever before. Scientists track the object every hour, carefully studying its speed, direction, and energy signals. With each passing day, the data becomes clearer, and the conclusion is impossible to ignore anymore. The object is not wandering randomly through space. It is traveling with purpose. For the astrophysicist who helped decipher the original signal, the journey from a strange mathematical pattern to the possibility of extraterrestrial contact still feels almost unbelievable. When she first began analyzing the mysterious transmission, it appeared to be just another anomaly in the vast ocean of cosmic signals. But the deeper she looked, the more structured the pattern became. Now, standing inside one of the most advanced observatories on Earth, she watches as new signals arrive that seem more complex and more intentional than anything previously recorded. The latest signal pattern surprises researchers across the world. Instead of simply repeating mathematical relationships or visual diagrams, the signal begins displaying layered sequences that resemble time-based instructions. When scientists convert the pattern into digital form, they discover that it behaves almost like a slowly unfolding code. Each sequence reveals a piece of information only after the previous one has been correctly interpreted. It is as though the unknown intelligence designed the signal to test whether the receiving civilization is capable of understanding increasingly advanced concepts. This discovery sends a wave of excitement through the international research teams studying the phenomenon. Linguists, mathematicians, and artificial intelligence experts begin collaborating more closely than ever before, attempting to interpret the evolving structure of the signal. Some researchers believe the signal may be describing fundamental scientific principles, gradually guiding humanity toward a deeper level of knowledge. Others think it could be a form of universal introduction, a method of teaching communication between civilizations that evolved under completely different conditions. Meanwhile, the mysterious object itself continues revealing new surprises as it moves closer to the inner solar system. Space telescopes capture more detailed images, showing that the object's structure is far more complex than originally believed. What once appeared as a single elongated body now seems to consist of several connected segments arranged in a precise geometric pattern. These segments appear to rotate slowly around a central axis, creating the possibility that they serve different functions such as communication, navigation, or energy generation. Scientists studying the object's energy emissions notice something remarkable. At certain intervals, the object releases faint bursts of radiation that perfectly align with changes in the deep space signal being received on Earth. The synchronization is so precise that researchers conclude the object is likely acting as both a transmitter and a relay system. In other words, the signal and the object are working together as part of a coordinated system designed for long-distance communication. The journalist who has followed the story since the earliest rumors now finds herself reporting on events that are reshaping humanity's understanding of the universe. Her coverage brings viewers inside research facilities where scientists analyze the incoming signals and inside international meetings where world leaders debate how humanity should continue responding. Through her reporting, the world begins to see how fragile yet powerful this moment in history truly is. Public reaction to the approaching object becomes more thoughtful as people gradually adapt to the reality that humanity may not be alone. At first, the news created waves of anxiety and speculation. But as months pass without any signs of aggression or danger, many people begin viewing the event with curiosity rather than fear. Educational institutions create new programs dedicated to interstellar communication, while artists, writers, and filmmakers explore the emotional impact of encountering another intelligent civilization. For the former intelligence officer, watching the world react in this way provides a sense of hope. For decades, he lived in a system built on secrecy, where information about unexplained phenomena was hidden to prevent panic or geopolitical tension. Now he sees humanity slowly embracing the unknown with a mixture of caution and curiosity. The fear that once justified secrecy has gradually been replaced by a global desire to understand the universe more deeply. Inside the international council responsible for coordinating humanity's response, discussions become increasingly focused on the next major decision, whether to send a second, more complex message back to the source of the signal. The first message successfully demonstrated humanity's ability to recognize mathematical communication. Now scientists propose sending a new transmission that includes representations of scientific knowledge, such as basic physical laws, chemical structures, and information about Earth's location within the solar system. However, the proposal once again raises concerns among some leaders. While the discovery has sparked excitement, the idea of revealing more detailed information about humanity still carries risks. If the unknown intelligence has intentions humanity does not understand, sharing too much information could create vulnerabilities. The Council debates these possibilities carefully, knowing that every decision made during this moment could influence the future of civilization. Meanwhile, the spacecraft missions designed to intercept the mysterious object continue moving forward. Engineers finalize designs for high-speed probes capable of traveling far beyond previous human missions. These probes will carry advanced imaging systems, spectrometers, and communication devices that could capture detailed data about the object's surface and internal structure. If everything goes according to plan, the first probe could reach the object within several years. While preparations continue on Earth, astronomers detect another dramatic change in the deep space signal. The evolving patterns begin forming larger sequences that appear to represent complex diagrams. When researchers reconstruct these diagrams using computer models, they notice shapes that resemble star systems connected by lines. Some scientists believe these diagrams might represent a map of nearby stellar regions, possibly showing the origin of the signal itself. The possibility that the message contains a map electrifies the global scientific community. If confirmed, it would provide humanity with the first direct clue about where the transmitting civilization might be located. Even more fascinating is the idea that the map may include multiple locations, suggesting the possibility of a network of civilizations or communication points spread across space. The trailer for the film hints at these discoveries with dramatic scenes showing scientists projecting a three-dimensional map of nearby stars onto massive screens inside the observatory. As the map rotates slowly in the darkness of the control room, the astrophysicist points to one glowing star system and explains that the signal may have originated there thousands of years ago. Another powerful scene in the trailer shows the journalist standing beneath a giant radio telescope dish, while explaining that humanity may have just discovered the first evidence of an interstellar communication network. Behind her, the enormous structure rotates slowly toward the night sky, symbolizing humanity's new connection with the cosmos. As the story approaches its final moments, the approaching object enters the region of the solar system near the orbit of Jupiter. Although it remains far from Earth, its presence within the planetary system confirms that humanity is no longer observing a distant phenomenon. The unknown intelligence has reached humanity's cosmic neighborhood. Scientists carefully monitor every movement of the object as it passes near the giant planet. Its trajectory appears stable and controlled, suggesting that it may be using gravitational forces to adjust its path deeper into the solar system. This maneuver demonstrates a level of technological sophistication that fascinates researchers studying the object's navigation. Back on Earth, the astrophysicist watches the latest signal sequences appear on her screen, realizing that the message is still evolving. Each new pattern reveals more complexity, more information, and more evidence that the unknown intelligence is continuing the conversation. Humanity has responded, the signal has answered, and the mysterious object has arrived within the boundaries of the solar system. The story that began with a faint mathematical pattern has now become the greatest scientific discovery in human history. The journalist who has followed the story since the earliest rumors now finds herself reporting on events that are reshaping humanity's understanding of the universe. What began as scattered leaks and mysterious government documents has now transformed into the greatest story ever told. Her broadcasts reach millions of people every day as she documents the scientific discoveries, political decisions, and emotional reactions unfolding across the planet. For her, the journey has become deeply personal. Years earlier, she risked her career investigating rumors that many people dismissed as conspiracy theories. Now the entire world watches as those rumors evolve into confirmed scientific reality. Each night, she stands outside observatories, research centers, and international council meetings, explaining the latest developments to an audience that spans every continent. Her voice carries both excitement and caution as she reminds viewers that humanity is witnessing the early stages of a discovery that may take decades or even centuries to fully understand. Through her reporting, people around the world begin to see the unfolding events not as a threat, but as an extraordinary chapter in the story of civilization. Meanwhile, inside the world's most advanced observatories, scientists continue monitoring the mysterious object that has now passed near the orbit of Jupiter. The massive gas giant becomes an important reference point in the object's journey because its gravitational field provides a natural way to measure the object's motion. Data collected from multiple telescopes confirms that the object performed a subtle maneuver as it approached the planet, slightly adjusting its trajectory before continuing deeper into the solar system. This maneuver fascinates astrophysicists because it demonstrates precise control over gravitational forces. Instead of simply drifting past Jupiter, the object appears to have used the planet's gravity to accelerate and change direction. This technique, known among human engineers as a gravity assist, is commonly used by spacecraft launched from Earth. Seeing an unknown object perform the same maneuver strengthens the belief that it is not just artificial, but designed with an understanding of advanced space navigation. For the astrophysicist who first deciphered the signal, the moment carries a powerful sense of confirmation. Every piece of evidence collected over the past months now fits together into a larger picture. The signal, the encoded images, the mathematical structures, and the approaching object all appear to be parts of a coordinated system created by an intelligence far beyond Earth. Inside the observatory control room, she and her team analyzed the newest patterns arriving through the deep space transmission. The signal has once again evolved into something more sophisticated. Instead of simple diagrams or maps, the latest sequences resemble dynamic models of physical systems. When researchers convert the patterns into simulations, they discover representations of atomic structures, gravitational interactions, and energy transformations. This discovery sparks a new theory among scientists studying the message. The unknown intelligence may be sharing scientific knowledge, perhaps as a way to establish a common foundation for communication. Mathematics and physics are universal languages that any advanced civilization would likely understand. By exchanging scientific concepts, both sides can confirm that the communication is truly being interpreted correctly. At the same time, engineers working on the proposed spacecraft missions complete the final designs for the first interception probe. The spacecraft will travel farther and faster than any probe humanity has launched before. Its mission will be simple but historic: approach the mysterious object, record detailed images and measurements, and transmit the data back to Earth. The preparation for this mission becomes one of the most ambitious engineering projects in human history. Thousands of scientists and engineers collaborate across different countries, combining knowledge and resources to ensure the mission succeeds. For the first time, space exploration becomes a truly unified effort involving the entire planet. Back on Earth, the International Council continues debating how humanity should respond to the increasingly complex signal. Some members believe the next message should include cultural information about humanity, such as music, art, and images representing life on Earth. Others argue that communication should remain focused on scientific data until the intentions of the unknown intelligence become clearer. The discussions reflect humanity's struggle to balance curiosity with caution. While the discoveries so far have shown no sign of hostility, the Council understands that first contact between civilizations is an unprecedented event. Every message sent into space carries the potential to shape how humanity is perceived by the intelligence on the other side of the conversation. While these decisions are being debated, astronomers detect another significant change in the object's trajectory. After passing near Jupiter, the object begins gradually adjusting its path toward the inner solar system. The shift is subtle but unmistakable. Instead of continuing on a distant route that would keep it far from the planets, the object is now moving toward a region closer to the orbit of Mars. The announcement of this change spreads rapidly through global media. For many people, the possibility that the object could travel deeper into the solar system makes the event feel far more immediate. The night sky suddenly feels different to those who look up at the stars, knowing that something unknown is moving quietly among the planets. The journalist reports on this development with careful detail, explaining that even though the object is still extremely far away, its movement toward the inner solar system could eventually place it within range of future human missions. Her calm but fascinated tone helps people understand the scale of the event without turning it into panic. Inside the observatory, the astrophysicist studies another new development in the signal. The evolving patterns now contain sequences that appear to represent time intervals. When converted into numerical form, the sequences suggest that the signal may be counting down toward a future moment. This discovery captures the attention of the entire scientific community. If the interpretation is correct, the message could be indicating that an important event is approaching. Some researchers speculate that the countdown may be connected to the approaching object, possibly marking the moment when it will reach a specific location within the solar system. The possibility of a cosmic countdown adds another layer of suspense to the unfolding story. Scientists begin calculating possible points in space where the object and the countdown might intersect. Many of the projected coordinates fall near regions between Mars and Earth's orbit. Although the exact destination remains uncertain, the trailer hints at this dramatic development through a powerful scene showing scientists staring at a digital display where numbers slowly decrease in sequence. The room is silent except for the faint sound of computers processing data. Another striking scene shows the journalist broadcasting from a crowded public viewing event where thousands of people gather around giant screens displaying the countdown numbers. The sense of anticipation is visible in every face as people realize that humanity may soon witness an event unlike anything in recorded history. For the characters at the center of the story, the meaning of Disclosure Day has evolved far beyond its original purpose. What began as a moment of revealing hidden information has now become the starting point of a dialogue between civilizations separated by unimaginable distances. The astrophysicist continues analyzing the signal with renewed determination, convinced that each new sequence contains clues about what will happen next. The journalist prepares to document what may become the first direct encounter between humanity and another intelligence. And the former intelligence officer works tirelessly to ensure that global cooperation remains strong as the world faces the unknown together. As the countdown sequence continues appearing within the signal, telescopes track the mysterious object slowly moving closer toward the region of Mars. The distance is still enormous, but the direction is clear. Humanity now understands that the story is entering its most critical chapter. Somewhere in the vast darkness of space, an intelligence has reached out, sent a message, and launched an object that is steadily approaching the inner solar system. The signal continues counting down, the object continues traveling forward, and the entire world watches the sky waiting for the moment when the next stage of the cosmic conversation finally begins. As the countdown embedded within the mysterious signal continues to progress, a strange mixture of anticipation and quiet tension spreads across the world. Humanity has never experienced anything like this before. For the first time in history, people are aware that a possible message from another intelligence is not only reaching Earth, but may also be leading toward a specific moment in time. Every new sequence that appears within the signal becomes a global event as scientists rush to analyze it, and news networks broadcast updates to millions of viewers watching from every corner of the planet. Inside the observatory where the signal was first decoded, the astrophysicist and her team have now transformed their research center into a global coordination hub. Specialists from dozens of scientific disciplines gather inside the facility, sharing data and theories as they work around the clock. Massive digital displays cover the walls of the control room, showing the incoming signal patterns, the trajectory of the approaching object, and complex models of the solar system that update in real time. The countdown pattern embedded within the signal appears incredibly precise. Each numerical sequence arrives at perfectly timed intervals, suggesting that the transmitting intelligence is measuring time with extraordinary accuracy. When scientists convert the pattern into Earth-based units, they discover that the countdown is gradually approaching a specific date that lies only a few months away. This discovery sends a wave of excitement and concern through the international council responsible for coordinating humanity's response. If the interpretation is correct, the signal may be predicting or announcing an event that will occur when the countdown reaches zero. The most obvious possibility is that the approaching object will arrive at a particular location within the solar system at that exact moment. Astronomers immediately begin calculating possible positions where the object could be when the countdown ends. Their models suggest that the object may reach a region of space between the orbits of Mars and Earth. Although the distance would still be enormous compared to the scale of human travel, it would represent the closest encounter humanity has ever had with something clearly artificial and non-human. The journalist who has been reporting on the unfolding story continues documenting every stage of the countdown. Her reports now focus not only on the scientific discoveries, but also on how people around the world are reacting to the approaching moment. In some cities, large public gatherings form where people watch the countdown displayed on giant screens. Universities organize global live streams where scientists explain the latest data to students and curious viewers. At the same time, artists, writers, and philosophers begin discussing what the arrival of another intelligence might mean for human culture and identity. Some see the moment as the beginning of a new era of exploration and discovery. Others view it as a profound reminder that humanity is only one small part of a much larger cosmic community. Inside the observatory control room, the astrophysicist studies the latest changes in the signal. The countdown numbers are still present, but new patterns have started appearing alongside them. These patterns resemble detailed diagrams, far more complex than the earlier mathematical sequences or star maps. When scientists reconstruct the diagrams using computer models, they begin to notice shapes that appear to represent mechanical structures. Point 1 of the diagrams seems to show a rotating object with multiple segments extending outward from a central core. The structure looks strikingly similar to the shape scientists observed when telescopes captured images of the approaching object. This realization leads to an astonishing possibility. The signal may be transmitting a schematic of the object itself. Researchers immediately begin comparing the diagram with the telescope images. The similarities are remarkable. Certain lines in the schematic appear to correspond to the rotating segments observed around the object's central body. If the interpretation is correct, the signal may be providing technical information about the object's design. The discovery creates intense debate among scientists. Some believe the diagram could be a form of introduction, allowing humanity to understand how the object functions before it arrives closer to the inner solar system. Others suggest the message may even contain instructions for interacting with the object once it reaches its destination. Meanwhile, engineers working on the interception probe accelerate their efforts to prepare the spacecraft for launch. Although the probe will not reach the object immediately, it could eventually intercept it if the trajectory continues toward the inner solar system. The mission now carries greater importance than ever before because it may provide humanity's first close-up look at extraterrestrial technology. The former intelligence officer continues working with the International Council to maintain global cooperation during this historic moment. He knows that as the countdown approaches its final phase, political tensions could easily rise if nations begin competing for control over potential contact. His efforts focus on ensuring that the discovery remains a shared achievement for all humanity rather than a source of conflict. As weeks pass, and the countdown continues. Telescopes track the mysterious object slowly approaching the region near Mars. Its speed remains steady, and its path still appears carefully controlled. The object occasionally releases brief energy pulses that align with changes in the signal patterns reaching Earth. Each pulse strengthens the connection between the object and the transmission, confirming that both are part of the same coordinated system. The trailer for the film highlights this stage of the story with dramatic imagery showing scientists watching the countdown clock projected across enormous screens inside the observatory. The numbers slowly decrease while outside the building crowds gather to witness history unfolding in real time. One scene shows the astrophysicist standing quietly in front of the main display while the countdown continues moving toward zero. Her expression reflects the mixture of awe and uncertainty shared by everyone studying the phenomenon. She knows that whatever happens when the countdown ends will become one of the defining moments in human history. Another powerful scene in the trailer shows the journalist speaking to viewers during a global broadcast as she explains that the signal's countdown has entered its final stage. Behind her, thousands of people stand together in a public square watching the sky, their faces illuminated by giant screens displaying the numbers ticking closer to the unknown moment. Back inside the observatory, scientists make another important discovery hidden within the diagrams being transmitted alongside the countdown. The schematics appear to show sections of the object opening or unfolding as it approaches its destination. When researchers simulate the sequence using computer models, they see something resembling a transformation process. The central structure of the object appears to expand outward, releasing smaller components or modules that spread into a symmetrical formation. The pattern resembles the deployment of instruments or communication arrays rather than a weapon or defensive system. This interpretation provides a sense of cautious optimism among scientists. If the object is preparing to deploy communication structures rather than offensive systems, it may indicate that its purpose is observation or interaction rather than aggression. However, uncertainty still surrounds the event. No one can be completely sure what the diagrams truly represent or what will happen when the countdown reaches zero. Even the most advanced scientific models cannot predict the intentions of an intelligence that evolved somewhere far beyond Earth. As the final days of the countdown approach, the world enters a state of collective anticipation. News networks broadcast continuous coverage, observatories prepare their instruments, and scientists review every piece of data collected since the first signal appeared. For the astrophysicist, the moment feels both overwhelming and deeply meaningful. The faint signal she once discovered hidden within cosmic noise has now become the center of humanity's attention. The mystery that began as a scientific curiosity has grown into the possibility of the first true encounter between civilizations separated by the vastness of space. The journalist prepares for what may become the most important report of her career. The former intelligence officer stands ready with global leaders, determined to ensure that whatever happens next will be faced together by all nations. And above Earth, far beyond the orbit of Mars, the mysterious object continues its silent journey toward the inner solar system. The countdown continues. The signal continues transmitting new diagrams and patterns. And the entire world waits for the moment when the final number reaches zero and the next chapter of the cosmic conversation finally begins. As the final phase of the countdown begins, the entire planet becomes united by a single question. What will happen when the last number reaches zero? The mysterious signal that once appeared as a faint mathematical pattern has now evolved into a precise timer that the entire world is watching. Governments, scientists, journalists, and ordinary people all understand that something significant is approaching, but no one knows exactly what the event will bring. Inside the main observatory where the signal was first decoded, the atmosphere feels heavier than ever before. Scientists move quickly between computer stations, reviewing incoming data and adjusting telescopes to ensure that every possible instrument is focused on the region of space where the object is expected to reach its destination. The control room, once quiet and filled only with researchers, is now crowded with specialists from around the world. Massive screens display real-time updates showing the object's trajectory, the evolving signal patterns, and the countdown numbers steadily decreasing. For the astrophysicist who began this entire journey, the moment feels almost unreal. Months earlier, she was simply studying unusual patterns in deep space radio signals. Now she stands in the center of the most important scientific event humanity has ever witnessed. The data appearing on the screens confirms that the approaching object is entering the region between Mars and Earth's orbit exactly as predicted. Its speed remains steady, and its course appears carefully controlled. At the same time, the signal continues transmitting the mysterious diagrams that scientists believe represent the internal structure of the object. As the countdown approaches its final stage, those diagrams become even more detailed. New layers appear showing what looks like internal chambers and energy systems inside the central structure. Engineers studying the patterns notice something fascinating. The design seems optimized for stability and communication rather than propulsion or weapon systems. This observation gives many researchers hope that the object's purpose is peaceful. Instead of appearing like a military device, it resembles a sophisticated relay station or exploration probe. The rotating segments surrounding the central body appear designed to collect data and transmit signals across enormous distances. Meanwhile, the journalist who has documented the entire story prepares for the largest broadcast of her career. News organizations across the world coordinate their coverage so that billions of people can witness the final moments of the countdown together. Cameras are set up outside observatories, research centers, and public gathering areas where thousands of people have assembled to watch the sky. In cities across the planet, giant screens display the countdown numbers as they move steadily closer to zero. For many people, the moment feels like standing on the edge of a new chapter in human history. Some watch with excitement, others with nervous curiosity, but everyone understands that whatever happens next will become one of the most important events ever recorded. Inside the International Council's secure meeting chamber, world leaders observe the same data feeds that scientists are analyzing in the observatory. Their responsibility is to ensure that humanity responds carefully to whatever occurs once the countdown ends. Security experts remain alert, although no evidence suggests that the approaching object poses a threat. Even so, the unknown nature of the situation means that every possibility must be considered as the countdown enters its final hours. Telescopes around the world capture the clearest images yet of the mysterious object. Although it still appears as a distant point of light, advanced image processing reveals faint structural details. The rotating segments surrounding the central core appear to be slowly unfolding, exactly as predicted by the diagrams contained within the signal. Scientists quickly compare the images with the schematics they decoded earlier. The similarity is nearly perfect. The signal has been describing the object's transformation step by step long before the telescopes were able to observe it directly. This realization confirms that the message was not only a form of communication, but also a preview of what humanity would eventually see. Inside the observatory control room, the astrophysicist studies the newest signal sequences arriving from deep space. Alongside the countdown numbers, a new pattern begins appearing repeatedly. When researchers convert the pattern into visual form, it resembles a series of expanding circles surrounding a central point. After several minutes of analysis, one of the mathematicians suggests that the pattern might represent waves spreading outward from a location in space. If the interpretation is correct, the signal could be describing an event that will occur when the countdown reaches zero. The theory spreads quickly through the research team. Some scientists believe the object may release a powerful transmission or energy burst at the exact moment the timer ends. Others speculate that it may activate the communication structures shown in the earlier diagrams. Outside the observatory, the journalist begins her live broadcast as the countdown enters its final hour. Her voice remains calm but filled with excitement as she explains the latest discoveries to viewers around the world. Behind her, a massive screen displays the slowly decreasing numbers while crowds watch in complete silence. For the first time in human history, billions of people are focused on the same moment in time. Back inside the control room, the astrophysicist notices another subtle change in the signal. The diagrams that once showed the object's structure now begin displaying patterns that resemble planetary orbits. When researchers overlay the diagrams onto a model of the solar system, they notice something extraordinary. The pattern highlights a region of space near the orbit of Mars, exactly where the object is predicted to reach its closest approach. This discovery strengthens the theory that the approaching object will perform some kind of action once it arrives at that location. Whether the action will involve communication, observation, or something entirely unexpected remains unknown. As the countdown enters its final minutes, tension fills every room where the event is being observed. Scientists stop speaking and focus entirely on the incoming data streams. Cameras around the world capture the faces of people watching the numbers decrease one by one. 10 minutes remain. The object continues moving steadily toward the predicted location. 5 minutes remain. The signal patterns begin repeating faster, as if preparing for the final moment. 2 minutes remain. The rotating segments around the object appear to open further, spreading outward like petals around a central core. 30 seconds remain. Inside the observatory, every screen displays the same countdown timer. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6. The astrophysicist watches the signal waveform begin to rise sharply. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. At the exact moment the final number disappears, telescopes detect a powerful but controlled burst of energy coming from the object. The energy expands outward in a perfect spherical wave, spreading silently through space. The moment the countdown reaches 0 and the energy wave spreads outward from the mysterious object, the world experiences a silence unlike anything before. Inside observatories, research facilities, and control rooms across the planet, scientists stare at their screens as the old signal disappears and a completely new transmission begins. For months, humanity has been trying to interpret mathematical patterns, diagrams, and encoded structures, but what appears now on the monitors looks far more complex than anything received before. The new signal flows in continuous waves of layered information. Instead of simple sequences or diagrams, the transmission appears organized into multiple channels operating simultaneously. At first, the complexity overwhelms the analysis systems, and computers struggle to convert the patterns into readable formats. But slowly, as artificial intelligence programs begin sorting through the incoming data, researchers start recognizing familiar elements hidden within the transmission. For the astrophysicist who has followed the signal since the very beginning, the moment feels almost surreal. She watches as the data streams across enormous digital displays in the observatory control room. What once looked like abstract patterns now begins forming structures that resemble organized information blocks. The signal seems to combine mathematical logic, visual encoding, and something that resembles a structured communication system. Scientists quickly realized that the transmission might represent a far more advanced attempt at communication than the earlier signals. The original message appeared designed to attract attention and confirm the presence of intelligence. This new transmission, however, seems intended to exchange information. Within minutes, decoding algorithms identify repeating patterns that match the mathematical language humanity previously transmitted into space. The unknown intelligence has clearly recognized the response sent by Earth and is now using similar mathematical frameworks to structure its own message. This discovery immediately reassures many researchers because it shows that the communication is evolving in a logical and cooperative way. Meanwhile, telescopes continue tracking the mysterious object floating silently near the orbit of Mars. The rotating structures that once surrounded the central core now appear fully expanded, forming a symmetrical configuration that resembles a giant communication array. From a distance, the object looks almost like a floating network of interconnected rings rotating slowly in the darkness of space. Astronomers studying the energy wave released at the moment of the countdown discover that it was not destructive or dangerous. Instead, the wave carried the beginning of the new transmission across a wider range of frequencies, allowing receivers across Earth to detect the signal simultaneously. In a sense, the object announced the start of the next stage of communication to the entire planet at once. The journalist who has been reporting on the event begins broadcasting live updates as the world learns that the signal has changed. Her voice carries the excitement felt by billions of viewers as she explains that scientists are now receiving a much more complex message from the mysterious object. Behind her, crowds gathered in public squares watch the same information appearing on giant screens as researchers attempt to decode the transmission in real time. Inside the observatory, the astrophysicist and her team begin isolating sections of the signal that appear easier to interpret. The first recognizable sequences resemble three-dimensional geometric structures rotating slowly in simulated space. When scientists reconstruct these patterns using computer models, they discover that the shapes correspond to stable molecular structures and physical systems. This discovery leads to a powerful realization. The unknown intelligence may be introducing fundamental scientific concepts in a visual and mathematical form that any technologically advanced civilization could understand. By sharing knowledge of basic structures and physical laws, both sides can establish a common foundation for deeper communication. As researchers continue decoding the transmission, they uncover even more fascinating elements hidden within the signal. Some sequences appear to represent star systems similar to the earlier map discovered months before. But this time the diagrams include additional information showing the relative positions of multiple stars and the paths connecting them. The images suggest something extraordinary. The signal may be describing a network of travel routes or communication links between distant star systems. If the interpretation is correct, the intelligence responsible for the signal might belong to a civilization, or perhaps a group of civilizations, that has explored far beyond its own planetary system. The possibility that humanity has received evidence of an interstellar network spreads quickly through the scientific community. Researchers begin comparing the diagrams with known star charts, attempting to match the positions shown in the signal with real stars visible from Earth. Some of the locations appear to correspond to stars relatively close to the solar system, while others lie much farther away. Back in the International Council chamber, world leaders watch these discoveries unfold through live scientific briefings. The realization that humanity may have just received its first real message from another intelligence forces them to consider new responsibilities. The question is no longer whether extraterrestrial intelligence exists. The question now is how humanity should continue the conversation. Debates begin immediately about what the next message from Earth should contain. Some scientists believe humanity should share information about life on Earth, its ecosystems, cultures, and diversity of species. Others argue that the focus should remain on scientific knowledge until the intentions of the unknown civilization are better understood. The former intelligence officer listens carefully during these discussions. Having spent decades working in secrecy, he understands how easily fear and misunderstanding can shape human decisions. But now he sees something different emerging from the situation. Instead of responding with panic or hostility, humanity appears determined to approach the unknown with patience and curiosity. While these conversations take place on Earth, the mysterious object remains silent except for the continuous transmission of the new signal. Its expanded structures rotate slowly, as if maintaining a stable orientation while broadcasting the complex message across space. From a distance, it appears less like a spacecraft and more like a floating beacon designed for communication. Scientists analyzing the signal soon uncover another remarkable feature hidden within the transmission. Alongside the diagrams and scientific structures are sequences that resemble time markers. When converted into numerical form, these markers appear to reference long periods measured in thousands of Earth years. This discovery leads to an astonishing hypothesis among researchers. The signal may have been traveling through space for an extremely long time before reaching Earth. The intelligence responsible for it might have sent the message centuries, or even millennia, ago, not knowing exactly when another civilization would detect it. If that interpretation is correct, the object now hovering near Mars could be an automated probe programmed long ago to deliver the next stage of communication once an intelligent species responded to the original signal. In other words, humanity may be interacting not directly with living beings, but with a machine designed to represent them. The idea fascinates scientists because it suggests a form of exploration far beyond current human capabilities. Instead of traveling across interstellar distances themselves, advanced civilizations might send intelligent probes capable of communicating and learning from other species. The trailer hints at this possibility through a dramatic scene showing the astrophysicist explaining that the object might be an ambassador machine, an automated messenger sent to explore the galaxy and begin conversations with emerging civilizations. As she speaks, the camera slowly reveals the object floating silently near Mars, its communication structures glowing faintly against the darkness of space. Another scene shows the journalist reporting that the message humanity is receiving could be the first chapter of an introduction prepared by a distant intelligence long before humanity developed modern technology. Her voice reflects both wonder and humility as she describes how humanity may have just joined a much larger cosmic story. Back in the observatory, scientists continue decoding the transmission, uncovering more layers of information hidden within the signal. Each discovery reveals new insights about the intelligence behind the message, but many questions remain unanswered. Who created the probe now orbiting near Mars? How many other probes might be traveling through the galaxy, searching for intelligent life? And what will happen if humanity continues responding to the message? As telescopes continue tracking the silent object and computers decode the endless stream of data flowing from its communication arrays, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. The universe is no longer a quiet and empty place. Humanity has finally received a message from beyond the stars. As the new transmission continues streaming from the mysterious object positioned near the orbit of Mars, scientists begin realizing that the message is far more than a simple greeting. The signal appears layered with multiple types of information, each organized in a structured sequence that slowly reveals itself as decoding systems become more advanced. What initially looked like overwhelming noise is gradually transforming into something meaningful, and with every passing hour, researchers uncover new pieces of the puzzle. Inside the main observatory control room, the astrophysicist studies the incoming data carefully while a team of mathematicians and engineers runs constant analysis programs. Large screens display the signal in colorful visual forms where patterns rise and fall like waves across digital graphs. The moment described earlier, when decoding algorithms first recognized repeating structures matching the mathematical language humanity had transmitted, now proves to be a crucial turning point in understanding the message. Those repeating structures were not random acknowledgments. They appear to serve as anchors within the signal, allowing researchers to separate the transmission into organized segments. By identifying the mathematical patterns humanity previously used, the alien system essentially created reference points that guide human decoding efforts. It is almost as if the intelligence behind the signal anticipated that any receiving civilization would need familiar structures to understand the rest of the message. This realization fascinates the global research community. The transmission seems carefully designed to reduce confusion and prevent misinterpretation between civilizations that evolved in completely different environments. Mathematics becomes the bridge connecting two distant intelligences across the vast emptiness of space. As scientists isolate the first major segment of the message, they discover something remarkable hidden within the data stream. The section appears to contain complex diagrams representing planetary systems. These diagrams are far more detailed than the star maps that were previously transmitted months earlier. Instead of simply showing positions of stars, the new diagrams include orbital paths, gravitational zones, and markers that appear to represent habitable regions around different stars. When the diagrams are reconstructed into three-dimensional models, researchers notice that one of the systems looks strikingly familiar. The orbital arrangement of planets matches the structure of our own solar system. A glowing marker appears near the third planet from the Sun, Earth. The signal is clearly acknowledging humanity's location. This discovery spreads through the observatory like a wave of disbelief and excitement. The message is not simply a broadcast drifting randomly through space. It is responding directly to the presence of intelligent life on Earth. The probe near Mars has identified humanity and is now continuing the communication with increasing clarity. Meanwhile, telescopes around the world continue tracking the mysterious object. With its communication structures fully expanded, the probe maintains a stable position near Mars' orbit. The rotating segments around its core move slowly, adjusting orientation as if aligning with both Earth and the deeper regions of space from which the signal originally arrived. Astronomers begin noticing subtle changes in the probe's energy emissions. Instead of the brief burst seen earlier during the countdown phase, the object now releases steady pulses that correspond with the structured data streams reaching Earth. These pulses appear to function like synchronization signals, helping maintain accurate communication across millions of kilometers. For the journalist who has been reporting every development since the earliest rumors, this stage of the story feels almost impossible to describe. During her live broadcast, she explains how humanity is now receiving information from what may be the first confirmed extraterrestrial technology ever encountered. Her words reach millions of viewers who follow the story with the same sense of wonder and curiosity. Across the world, public reactions begin shifting from fear toward fascination. Schools introduce special lessons explaining the scientific discoveries. Universities organize open discussions about extraterrestrial communication, and museums begin preparing exhibits about the historic event. For the first time, humanity is collectively experiencing the reality that intelligent life may exist elsewhere in the universe. Back inside the observatory, the astrophysicist and her team decode another segment of the transmission. This time the message contains structures resembling biological diagrams. At first, the images appear abstract, composed of geometric shapes and layered patterns. But when researchers apply modeling algorithms to reconstruct the data, the shapes begin resembling molecular chains and cellular structures. The possibility emerges that the signal might be describing forms of life. Scientists approach this discovery carefully. They know that interpreting alien biological information could be extremely challenging because life beyond Earth might be based on completely different chemistry. Even so, the diagrams show repeating patterns that resemble the basic logic of living systems, structures that replicate, interact, and evolve over time. Some researchers speculate that the message may be sharing information about the civilization that created the probe. Instead of sending direct images of their physical forms, they may be transmitting fundamental biological principles that describe how life can exist under different conditions across the universe. The International Council monitoring the situation receives continuous updates from the scientific teams. Leaders from many nations sit together in the same room, watching the discoveries unfold in real time. The political atmosphere surrounding the event has changed dramatically since the first days of Disclosure Day. Instead of secrecy and competition, there is now a strong sense that humanity must approach this moment together. The former intelligence officer observes these developments with quiet reflection. For decades, he worked within a system built on hiding information from the public. Now he witnesses a world that is gradually embracing transparency and cooperation in the face of the unknown. In many ways, the arrival of the mysterious probe has forced humanity to mature beyond its old divisions. While decoding efforts continue, scientists discover another fascinating feature within the transmission. Certain sections of the message appear to function almost like lessons or tutorials. Each segment introduces a concept, demonstrates its structure using mathematics or diagrams, and then gradually increases the complexity. This structure reinforces the theory that the probe may have been designed as an educational ambassador rather than simply a communication device. Its purpose might be to introduce young technological civilizations to broader cosmic knowledge step by step. If that idea is correct, the creators of the probe may belong to a culture that has encountered many other civilizations throughout the galaxy. Instead of direct contact, they might send automated systems capable of teaching and exchanging information with emerging species. The trailer for the film hints at this idea through a dramatic scene showing the astrophysicist explaining the theory to an international audience of scientists. She suggests that humanity may be interacting with a messenger system designed to guide civilizations once they reach a certain level of technological development. Another powerful moment shows the journalist reporting from outside the observatory while thousands of people gather nearby, holding telescopes and cameras pointed toward the night sky. She describes how humanity is witnessing the beginning of something far greater than a simple alien encounter. It may be the first step into a larger interstellar community. Inside the control room, the decoding computers reveal yet another new layer of the transmission. This segment contains what appears to be a timeline represented through mathematical sequences and symbolic markers. Researchers analyze the patterns carefully, trying to determine whether the timeline refers to events in the past, present, or future. Although the exact meaning remains uncertain, one thing becomes clear. The message is not static. It is designed to be explored gradually, with new sections revealing themselves as earlier parts are understood. The mysterious probe continues floating near Mars, quietly transmitting its endless stream of data while scientists on Earth work tirelessly to interpret the information. Every new discovery deepens humanity's understanding of the message while raising new questions about the civilization that created it. Who sent the probe? How far away are they? And how many other civilizations across the galaxy may have received similar messages? As night falls over Earth and telescopes track the silent object gliding through space, the astrophysicist watches the latest decoded diagrams appear on her screen. Each symbol represents another piece of a cosmic puzzle that humanity has only just begun to understand. The message continues. The probe continues transmitting. And for the first time in history, humanity is not alone in searching for answers among the stars. With the new transmission flowing steadily from the mysterious probe near Mars, the world enters a phase of relentless curiosity and anticipation. The countdown has ended, but the event that followed has proven to be only the beginning of a much larger and more complex interaction. Humanity has now stepped into a form of dialogue with an intelligence far beyond its own, and every new fragment of the message offers both astonishing knowledge and deeper mysteries. Inside the observatory control room, the astrophysicist watches the data streams in real time. The signal, which at first seemed incomprehensible, has now revealed layers that function almost like an educational curriculum. The first sections introduced mathematics and geometric principles. The second mapped the solar system and nearby stars. The third appears to introduce fundamental physical and biological concepts. Now, the latest sequences seem to illustrate energy systems and mechanics, demonstrating principles of motion, force, and even advanced technologies that are currently beyond human capability. The research team quickly realizes the scope of what they are witnessing. The transmission is not merely a message, it is a guide. It is as if the intelligence behind the probe is not only acknowledging humanity's presence, but also preparing it to understand concepts necessary for interaction on a cosmic scale. Scientists reconstruct three-dimensional simulations from the data, revealing structures and machines that seem impossible yet fully functional within the rules of physics outlined in the diagrams. The astrophysicist reflects on the enormity of the task ahead. Decoding each layer of the message is like unwrapping multiple envelopes, each containing more intricate and profound instructions than the last. Her team has been working tirelessly for weeks, yet they are only halfway through the transmission. Inside the observatory, the astrophysicist notices patterns emerging within the transmission that seem almost deliberate in their progression. One sequence illustrates how energy can be stored, transformed, and transmitted efficiently across great distances. Another shows principles that resemble propulsion systems far more advanced than current human spacecraft. The researchers realize that the intelligence behind the probe may be providing humanity with insights into technologies that could fundamentally change space exploration, communication, and even energy management on Earth. The International Council overseeing the situation holds urgent discussions about how to proceed. While the message is clearly non-hostile, the potential consequences of misinterpreting or misusing the information are enormous. Leaders debate whether to share every piece of the transmission with the public immediately or to release it gradually as scientists confirm their interpretations. The conversation reflects humanity's first true experience with the responsibilities of interstellar communication. Knowledge from beyond the stars carries not only opportunity, but also profound ethical considerations. The former intelligence officer observes these discussions with deep reflection. He understands the delicate balance between transparency and security. Unlike past experiences where secrecy was justified by fear or control, this moment demands careful judgment combined with collective responsibility. He advocates for global cooperation and careful analysis, emphasizing that the message belongs to all humanity, not just individual nations. As decoding progresses, a particularly intriguing layer of the transmission is revealed. The new segment appears to contain dynamic representations of planetary ecosystems, energy cycles, and even hypothetical models of sentient life adapted to various environmental conditions. The diagrams do not depict Earth's life forms specifically, but instead illustrate universal principles governing biological systems. This confirms earlier theories that the intelligence behind the probe is attempting to communicate not only technologically, but biologically, preparing humanity for a deeper understanding of life beyond Earth. Researchers are astonished by the level of foresight and design embedded within the probe's message. The sequences are structured in a way that gradually increases complexity, ensuring that humanity can comprehend one layer before moving to the next. The transmission itself demonstrates an understanding of pedagogy and cognitive development, suggesting that the intelligence behind the probe has engaged with multiple civilizations in the past, refining methods for teaching and communication across species. Around the world, people begin to feel a shared sense of purpose. The arrival of the probe and the intricate signal has united humanity in a way never seen before. People gather in public spaces to watch live feeds, discuss theories, and reflect on the broader significance of the event. The probe has become a symbol of curiosity, discovery, and the potential for cooperation beyond planetary boundaries. Back at the observatory, the astrophysicist and her team identify another crucial aspect of the transmission, a series of sequences that appear to encode procedural instructions. These sequences resemble operational steps for constructing or manipulating machinery, but at a scale and complexity beyond current human engineering. Simulations based on these instructions suggest possible applications in energy generation, space propulsion, and even environmental management. The realization sends shockwaves through the scientific community. The transmission is not merely informational, it is transformational. Humanity has been provided with concepts that could accelerate its technological development by centuries if correctly interpreted and applied. At the same time, the team remains cautious, understanding that misinterpretation could lead to mistakes or misapplications with potentially disastrous consequences. The journalist captures this stage of the story with live coverage showing researchers animatedly discussing simulations projected on massive screens. She explains to viewers that humanity is not only learning about distant intelligence, but also being introduced to entirely new frameworks for understanding physics, engineering, and life itself. Her reporting emphasizes the unprecedented nature of the event. Never before has any species received such structured and purposeful guidance from beyond its own world. Across the globe, the educational and cultural impacts of the probe's transmission continue to expand. Schools and universities integrate the new discoveries into lessons about mathematics, physics, and biology. Philosophers and ethicists debate the moral implications of interacting with an intelligence capable of guiding technological and biological development. Artists, writers, and filmmakers explore the emotional and societal consequences of humanity's first real dialogue with an extraterrestrial civilization. Inside the observatory, the astrophysicist identifies another remarkable feature in the signal. The transmission includes sequences that resemble communication protocols, methods for encoding, transmitting, and verifying information across vast distances. These protocols appear designed to ensure that any messages sent back by humanity could be accurately received and interpreted by the probe or the civilization that created it. The implication is profound. Humanity is being invited not only to receive knowledge, but also to actively participate in the exchange. The probe is teaching the language of interstellar communication itself, providing the tools necessary for a sustainable and meaningful dialogue. As the days turn into weeks, scientists continue to decode layer after layer of the transmission. Each new discovery builds upon previous ones, revealing a careful progression designed to expand understanding without overwhelming the recipients. Humanity is beginning to perceive the intelligence behind the probe as patient, deliberate, and highly knowledgeable, capable of bridging vast distances of space, time, and culture. Meanwhile, the probe remains near Mars, its rotating arrays maintaining a constant orientation. The energy pulses synchronize perfectly with the transmitted data, reinforcing the connection between the physical object and the information it carries. Observers note that the probe's position and operation are optimized not for observation alone, but for sustained communication with a civilization capable of interpreting increasingly complex information. As humanity absorbs the magnitude of the moment, a sense of unity emerges. The probe has not only delivered information, it has provided a shared purpose, an unprecedented reason for collaboration across nations, disciplines, and cultures. People worldwide begin to see themselves not as isolated populations, but as part of a larger, interconnected species with the opportunity to engage meaningfully with intelligence beyond Earth. The journalist broadcasts nightly summaries, explaining to the public the progress of decoding, the significance of each new discovery, and the philosophical implications of this ongoing interaction. Viewers watch as scientists reconstruct simulations, analyze energy systems, and explore hypothetical life models. The storytelling emphasizes not only the technical achievements, but also the collective human experience, the awe, curiosity, and responsibility that come with first contact. Inside the observatory, the astrophysicist reflects on the profound changes taking place. What began as a simple detection of a mysterious signal has transformed into humanity's first sustained conversation with an intelligence from beyond the stars. Every new sequence decoded, every diagram reconstructed, and every simulated system understood represents a step forward in knowledge, understanding, and cosmic perspective. The message continues flowing, layer upon layer, each more intricate than the last. Humanity has entered a dialogue that may span years, decades, or even generations. The mysterious probe near Mars remains a silent but active ambassador, guiding civilization through the first stages of an interstellar conversation that could forever change the way people understand their place in the universe. And as the world collectively turns its gaze to the skies, one truth becomes undeniable. The universe is no longer silent, humanity is no longer alone, and the conversation with the stars has only just begun.